be looking at in this particular video are nutrition in plants, which is essentially photosynthesis, nutrition in animals, and we're going to be looking at two very interesting organisms here, which are the amoeba and the paramecium. We're also going to be looking at nutrition in humans and the process of digestion. However, this is only going to be a small introduction to the process of digestion. I don't want to make this a very long video, so I will stop with a slight introduction to digestion and the digestive process. So nutrition. The first word that comes to mind when someone says nutrition is energy. All living beings, animals, humans, and even plants require energy. Why? Why do we need this energy? See, our body performs certain functions that are necessary to keep us alive. And our body can only perform these functions, as long as it receives a continuous supply of energy. The second this supply of energy is stopped or cut off, our body will stop performing these functions. And one organ after another will collapse within our bodies and we will die. So energy is a must. We require energy, and we obtain this energy through the food that we eat. On this basis, living organisms can be classified into two types: the autotrophs and the heterotrophs. Now, the word auto means self. So by definition, autotrophs are those organisms that can manufacture or synthesize their own food, right? And the most common examples of autotrophs are plants, which are everywhere around us. Heterotrophs, on the other hand, cannot synthesize or produce their own food. We depend, the examples are humans, animals, and fungi. So we depend on the plants and animals around us to meet our energy requirements. We eat them. So when we talk about plants and their mode of nutrition, we automatically talk about autotrophic nutrition. Auto, like I said before, means self. So plants synthesize their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Now, for this process to take place, a plant requires four basic things. It requires carbon dioxide or CO2, water or H2O, nitrogen or N2, and sunlight. Remember, sunlight is essential for the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis cannot take place in the absence of sunlight, which is why you will observe that photosynthesis does not take place at night. It only takes place during the day. Carbon dioxide, which is present in the air, is absorbed through tiny pores on the leaves of the plant called stomata, right? So stomata is where gaseous exchange takes place. It's where the plants absorb CO2 present in the air around them. Water and other minerals, of course, from the soil present from the soil. Nitrogen. Now, this is very important. Nitrogen is a very important compound required for photosynthesis, and please pay attention here. Nitrogen is absorbed in the form of inorganic nitrates and nitrites, and as organic compounds prepared from atmospheric nitrogen. As inorganic nitrates and nitrites, and also as organic compounds prepared from atmospheric nitrogen. Remember, this can be asked as a 1-mark question, so please keep this in mind. Now, given below is a balanced chemical equation for the process of photosynthesis. Don't worry, I will explain the equation. But before I do, let me just tell you guys that when you're writing your exams and giving your exams and writing these equations, make sure that you balance them, because a balanced chemical equation is symbolic of the law of conservation of energy, which states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Now, if you don't balance an equation, it will defy this law and you will lose marks. So if you guys don't understand how to balance an equation, please let me know. I will try to cover it in the subsequent videos. But for now, just memorize this equation. All this equation is telling you is that carbon dioxide and water. When a plant absorbs carbon dioxide and water, the plant produces glucose, oxygen, and water. Right? Quite simple. What really happens in the process of photosynthesis? So like I said before, a plant requires four things: carbon dioxide, water, nitrogen, and sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. So what really happens in this process? Light energy from the sun. Sunlight is trapped by a green pigment called chlorophyll. So chlorophyll traps sunlight, and these chlorophylls are present in organelles called chloroplasts. Okay, don't get confused between chlorophyll and chloroplasts. Chlorophyll traps sunlight and is present in chloroplasts. The light energy is then converted into chemical energy. So sunlight is then converted to chemical energy. And water molecules, which are absorbed by the plant, are subsequently broken down into their component H2 and O2 molecules. Component H2, hydrogen, and O2, oxygen molecules. Carbon dioxide is then broken down to form carbohydrates. It's a relatively simple process. Don't worry, it's easy to understand. So carbon dioxide is broken down to carbohydrates. Now, these carbohydrates are the source of energy for the plant. Not all of it is used up at once. Some of it is stored for use at a later date in the form of starch. This is again an important one marker which can be asked in MCQs, so please do keep this in mind. Some points to remember. Like I said earlier, plants have tiny pores on their leaves called stomata. It is at this point that gaseous exchange takes place. Remember that a plant releases carbon dioxide into the air at night and absorbs oxygen, and during the day the reverse process takes place. It gives out oxygen and absorbs CO2. So this process, this gaseous exchange, takes place in the stomata. Alright? So when no photosynthesis takes place, the stomata are kept closed because water can escape through these pores. Right? And water is essential for photosynthesis. The plant needs to have reserves of water. So these pores are kept open. When photosynthesis doesn't take place, the water will escape and they will lose their reserves of water. So the opening and closing of stomata is regulated by something called guard cells. Okay. So when water flows into a guard cell, the guard cells expand. The guard cells expand, and the stomata open. When water flows out of a guard cell, the guard cells shrink, and the stomata close. That's it about nutrition in plants. We'll now go over to nutrition in animals, which is called heterotrophic nutrition. Why heterotrophic nutrition? Because as I mentioned earlier, animals, humans, we cannot produce our own food. So our mode of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. Like I said here, most animals, including humans, are not capable of synthesizing their own food. They depend on plants and animals around them for energy. So remember that the food that we eat, the food that we consume, is too complex to directly extract energy from. We cannot extract energy directly from the food that we eat. It has to be broken down into simpler molecules. And this process is aided by biocatalysts present in our body called enzymes. Right? So complex food molecules are broken down into simpler food molecules with the help of biocatalysts present in our body called enzymes. This process is common in both animals and humans, so don't worry about that. So when we talk about types of heterotrophic nutrition, we're mainly looking at saprophytic nutrition and parasitic nutrition. Saprophytic is basically when you find organisms feasting on dead and decaying organic matter like plants and animals. Examples of organisms that exhibit a saprophytic type of behavior are fungi, yeast, mushrooms. And then we come to parasitic. So I'm sure you're all very familiar with this concept. Most common examples of parasites are lice, leeches, tapeworms. So what these organisms do is that they attach themselves to a host and feed off of the host without killing the host. So they derive their nutrition from other organisms without killing them. Is essentially what a parasite does. Interesting cases of heterotrophic nutrition. So we're going to be looking at the amoeba and the paramecium. So let's talk about the amoeba first. The amoeba is a single-celled organism. Okay, it is a single-celled organism, has no definite shape, and has no specialized organs for digestion. So if you look at humans, we have organs for digestion, organs for respiration, organs for excretion, but an amoeba has no such specialized cells. It is just one cell and has no definite shape. So to engulf its food particle, it uses fake finger-like projections called pseudopodia. So it uses fake finger-like projections to engulf its food particle, and these fake projections are called pseudopodia. And in this process, a food vacuole is created. So it is within this food vacuole that the food particle, which is complex, is broken down into simpler substances. So this happens within the food vacuole. And once the complex food particle has been broken down into simpler molecules, it diffuses into the cytoplasm. And once this process takes place, all the undigested unwanted material is thrown out of the body, which is essentially what nutrition is in the amoeba. Coming to the paramecium. The paramecium, like the amoeba, is also a single-cell organism, but unlike the amoeba, it has a definite shape and takes in food at a specific spot. So this can be considered the equivalent of the human mouth. The mouth is where we ingest our food. So this spot is similar to the human mouth in that the paramecium ingests food here. Hair-like projections called cilia, which are present all over the body of the paramecium, bring food to this spot, which is again covers nutrition in paramecium. Let us now look at nutrition in human beings. Like I said before, I will not be covering the entire thing in this video, just giving you a basic introduction. Now digestion, when we talk of digestion, we have to keep in mind that this digestion takes place in the alimentary canal. and a number of organs make up the alimentary canal. And I've given a slight mnemonic to help you remember these organs, and that is TMOS LPG LA. I know it sounds really funny, but this is going to help you remember these organs during the exam. So just put a little effort in mugging up the mnemonic. TMOS LPG LA. Okay. So in this order this is the order in which you will find the organs in the alimentary canal. T stands for tongue and teeth. M stands for mouth. O stands for the esophagus. S for the stomach. S again for the small intestine. LPG, liver, pancreas, gallbladder. L again, the large intestine, or also called the colon. And EA for the appendix and the anus. So don't get freaked out. This is a fairly simple concept to understand, even if it is a little long. But you can always learn it. That's not a problem. Just keep in mind TMOS LPG LA. This will help you remember stuff in the exam easily. Okay. And I will end the video with this slide. Keep in mind that these videos are designed to make you understand what's taught in class better. These are in no way a substitute to your textbooks or to your notes. So after this video is done, kindly go back and whatever I've explained to you in this video, kindly go back and refer to your lectures. They will help you perform better.